Peace, what up, y'all? It is your boy Anti-Simp with a new video. And I want to talk about why simping is bad in this video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to hit the bell notification so that you can be notified whenever I drop a new video. Also, if you have been a long-time follower of mine and you wanted to support my channel or, buy a t-shirt from me, now you can. I've left my you can donate to me via CashApp in the description, or you can head to my website at stopsimpingnow.com/shop, and you can shop and buy a t-shirt or whatever the case is, or a hat, and that's how you can support the page. Anyway, let's move forward. Simping is bad because men are not supposed to be submissive. What is a simp? A simp is a man who puts himself in a subservient and submissive position under women in hopes of winning them over. And this is bad because men aren't supposed to be submissive to women. Women are supposed to be submissive to a man. And if you're a woman and you disagree, I don't care. I don't even listen to women. So, these pointless debates that I used to have or that you think we're going to have in the future ain't going to happen. And you'd be wasting your time typing up these paragraphs. Because I did used to have these discussions with women about why this was necessary in a relationship, like why, submission was necessary in a relationship. And honestly, it was fruitless and it was a waste of time. I like being the leader. I like being the head of the table. I like being the tribal chief. I like when others bend their will to mine, and I like having power. I like women who love to be submissive. What I don't like is women who don't know what they're talking about when it comes to talking about being submissive. They think being submissive is being a doormat. And I've actually, had a doormat in the past, and I didn't like it. Because you got to do everything for them, including their thinking. With somebody who's submissive, they are interdependent. And, I don't like debating these women about what being submissive is because they don't know what it is. I don't listen to women when it comes to submission because, realistically, y'all don't know what it is, and you were never taught how to be submissive. You don't even know that, there's power in being submissive. People always talk about there's power in the coup de puff. There's power in the V or the P. And realistically, the power doesn't really come there because there are a lot of women that are single right now. So that means a lot of women have vaginas and a lot of women would have been able to take over the world. But they can't, and they don't. A lot of men have been waking up and seeing that a lot of females only have vagina to offer. And therefore, a vast majority of women are single. Dudes are just not going to just be agreeable in these relationships, and the only thing they're getting out of these relationships is vagina. They're cool on that. They've upped their standards. And I know a woman who, isn't submissive and doesn't know what being submissive is going to argue that we're intimidated by women who have their own minds and women who have their own monies. But it's like, again, you don't know what being submissive is because you think that you think that a woman who has her own money and her own mind can't be submissive. You think that, when it comes to relationship that, that there can't be responsibilities in a relationship. You think that a woman who's submissive shouldn't have to pay bills. You're thinking of the 1950s version of being submissive when you couldn't work and you had to be in the house. And realistically, y'all weren't taught how to be submissive back then either. Y'all were still just doing what you had to do to survive because you couldn't work. Let's get some water. But it's the modern day now, and there's no excuse for why y'all don't know what submission is. There's no excuse for why y'all aren't submissive. You're talking about, where a man's money is or whatever the case is. And I don't really believe that y'all just don't run into the right type of men. What happens is y'all end up getting approached by a lot of different guys. Y'all run into a lot of different variety of guys, but the ones that y'all choose happen to be losers. And that's why we're never really on the same page when it comes to these posts. Because I see a lot of y'all whining on social media about being single, and now you're kind of swinging for, you be submissive in a relationship, but you're talking about it got to be the right type of guy or whatever. But y'all meet the right type of guy. Y'all just don't choose him. That's what's realistic. That is definitely what is realistic about y'all situations. And another thing, red pill community, which is not the red pill community, but thing. I know like people try to call us the women I'm talking about who like being submissive, who love being submissive. There are women on the internet who are trying to imply that those women are simps as well, but because we ignored them and that didn't really fly, they came up with another term for it, which is called pick me. The term pick me came from women who don't even have our best interests. And the women who say that, they don't even like men. Pick me is a term used by manginas. I've seen manginas use it before as well. But it's a term used by manginas and women who hate men. More than likely, I'm going to just leave it there. Women who just don't like men. They probably like women instead. Basically misandrous. That's where the term pick me came from. But all in all, it's like, why would I go back and forth with y'all? Why would I go back and forth with y'all and debate you on things that I like and you don't? It's like, if you don't like being submissive, then go find you somebody who is cool with you as you are. More than likely, the problem is you have a problem finding somebody like that, and I'll have a better time of finding somebody who does like being submissive, who has been taught to be submissive. And we're not even just talking about out of necessity, out of survival, but somebody who actually doesn't mind it, who has been taught to be this. This has been ingrained into them. Submission is, I know there's been guys out there who try to call females simps or whatever the case is, and that's weird if you're a heterosexual guy, because submission is a character trait of feminine women. It's an act of femininity. It's a feminine trait, if you will, and we're supposed to like that in women. So it's just weird that you try to make that a negative thing. I think what ends up happening is that these women are submissive towards guys that they think are less than of, or that they feel like the women look them over in favor of, and therefore that they try to call them simps, whatever the case is, because they couldn't get women to pick them or whatever, or choose them over those type of guys. But that's some weirdo stuff right there. Anyway, we done got to the root of it. Simping is bad because men are not supposed to be submissive to women. Women are supposed to be submissive to men. And realistically, let's talk about something else. You shouldn't feel bad for, wanting to be the man in the relationship, guys. You shouldn't feel bad. Like, I just put it out there that I like power. I like being the head of the table. I like being the tribal chief. I done added that to a moniker of names that I like, titles, if you will. Because realistically, let's talk about things. I have times in previous videos that women who talk that crap on social media about knowing men with money don't really know men with money. And more than likely, a lot of them have a lot of debt because they don't have any skills. They're just hoping some weird magical man just comes along and just pays off all their student loans and just gives them money for no apparent reason other than the fact that they exist. And it's like, no, man, that's not going to happen. If you don't add any value to my life, you are not going to control nothing or tell me what to do, ever. And another thing, when women give their perspective on why they prefer relationships that are 50-50 over being submissive, they're giving you their perspective or opinion from a position of failure. As a black man in the black community, more than almost 80% of the women in our community are single. And each generation has a high number of single women. You got millennials who are in the 90s, or the 90%. You have the generation before the millennials, they're in the 80s. And then you have the generation before that, they're in the 70s. But as a grand total of how many actual single women, the grand total would be somewhere in the 80s. A little bit above 80% of them are single right now, while around 70% of them have children. That is high. That is high for them to be telling me what their perspective on how relationships are when you're somebody's baby daddy. You are not going to tell me how a successful relationship is from a position of failure. Anyway, also, before I even end this, I feel like, they're not going to tell me what their opinion is on what a successful relationship is from a position of failure, especially when other cultures have been doing well with, their men being the leader, while ours isn't doing that well. We are pumped, even in other communities, like, Europeans or the, I don't even know what I would call Hispanics, but I guess the Hispanic or Latino community, their relationships, in the events of their relationships where, they don't have men being the leaders in their relationship, they aren't doing that well either in this country. But in other cultures, they're doing a lot better. Anyway, that's all the time that I have for this video. If you guys like it, give it a thumbs up. Hell, if you don't like it, you can give it a thumbs down. If you'd like to check out some more content, you can in the below. As soon as the video is over, a couple of boxes of videos will pop up. You can check out my other videos that I got going on. I will catch you guys at the next video. Peace.